And now the next session takes us all the way into the heart of Europe. We're going to France, but we're not staying only in France. We're also going to explore the faster lanes of Asia. As you might know, France is really where artificial intelligence is at. Earlier this year, France made global headlines at the inaugural AI Action Summit in Paris. And today, that very spark arrives right here in Asia. It's igniting a conversation and collaboration between two powerful innovation ecosystems. And this next session is brought to you by no one else than the French Chamber of Commerce in Singapore, Team France Export. And therefore, it is now my pleasure to welcome to the stage Carine Lespayandel, the Executive Director, French Chamber of Commerce in Singapore. Please give a warm welcome to Carine. Welcome, Carine.
Thank you, everyone.
Fantastic, great to have you. Please, right over here. Bonjour, I should say, right?
Bonjour. Merci.
Bonjour.
Welcome,
Merci.
everyone. Thank you
Stage
so
is
much
yours.
for being
Just come a
with
little
us.
bit more forward, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
So, hi, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We are really delighted to have you all. My name is Carine Lespayandel. I'm the Executive Director of the French Chamber in Singapore. I've been living in Singapore for more than 20 years, so Singapore is my home, but France is also in my heart. So the French Chamber, we are one of the largest chambers of commerce abroad. We have over 650 companies. And what we do is really to help foster the business relations between France and Singapore. So we organize a lot of events, like 200 events a year, and we organize French pavilions. And I would like to encourage you all to come and see us at our pavilion, which is at row D150, because after this very interesting session, we're going to have a networking at the pavilion. So please join us all. Thank you. And now, I would like to introduce our panel today, which is From France to Asia, AI that makes a difference. So in the next 25 minutes or so, you will hear from AI experts across sectors such as communication, sustainability, cybersecurity, and IT infrastructure. As you may know, France ranks among the top 3 countries in Europe for AI investment, with over 2.5 billion euros invested in AI startups since 2020. So this ecosystem is, of course, driven by world-class research, but also bold entrepreneurs and a very strong culture of private-public collaboration. So let's dive in. And I'm thrilled to hand over to our amazing speakers from Mistral AI, Libertify, HarfangLab, CM Communications, and of course, our moderator, Caroline from Engie Factory. Please welcome our panelists on stage and our dear Caroline from Engie Factory.
I'm Caroline, running the investment arm of Engie, which is a French multinational focusing on energy. And to decarbonize and invest in startup, we do a lot of AI applications. We use a lot of AI actually to accelerate what we do. And I'm very happy to facilitate this panel, which is about the French expertise in AI and some of the top projects that have been brought to Asia. So maybe we start just with a round of introduction. Okay. David, you want to go first?
Thanks. Hello, everyone. David Dufourcq. I'm the VP International of HarfangLab, an EDR vendor from France. We specialize in EDR and EPP solutions. We sell it to public and private sectors, most of it in Europe, but we have a growing activity in Middle East and Asia. And our specialty is on-premise and air-gap deployment compared to cloud.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for your welcome. I'm Florian. I'm the founder of Libertify. We created the company 3 years ago with Steve Rosenblum, the founder of Pixmania.com. and Olivier Sibony, the co-author of the book Noise with the Nobel Prize Daniel Kahneman. We are specializing in transforming any document or information into engaging AI, video, and storytelling. And we are 3 offices, one in Paris, one in Dubai, and one in Hong Kong.
Hi, I'm Yves from CNS Communication. We are an IT consulting company. We bring end-to-end technical expertise on critical transformation projects for our clients from network, cloud, data center, AI, and automation. What makes us slightly different is that we can support from advisory up to the final rollout, so to remove the friction between technical roadmap and actual implementation with the client challenges on the technical environment.
Good afternoon. My name is Geoff Soon. I'm the only person without a French accent on this panel, but hopefully you'll be able to understand me. I'm the first employee of Mistral AI in Singapore. Mistral AI is one of the fastest growing French AI companies. I think 12 months ago we had 60 people. I was in Paris last week and we had 250. What we really focus on is bringing foundational AI capabilities to our customers that range from governments to enterprises to SMBs.
Great, thanks a lot. So one thing that brings us all together on this panel is that you've all been scaling to some extent in Asia, some for a little bit longer, some won some awards already. You've just been there for 4 weeks and setting up Mistral in Asia. Could we start by sharing maybe a successful application of what you guys have been building using AI and a clear example? Do you want to get started?
Yeah, sure. So in cybersecurity, of course, AI can be found everywhere, whereas it is a marketing promise or a concrete value put on the table. At HarfangLab, we use AI, like our competitors, Palo Alto, CrowdStrike, Microsoft, in order to simplify the daily work of security analysts. So a security analyst has to check thousands and thousands of incidents every day. How to make it more simple? We use AI to downsize the number of incidents per day and aggregate all those incidents in order for them to spend less time and focus on the real threats. That's the first thing. The second thing, we use AI to launch automated response. So jobs such as quarantine, blocking, in order to give an even better performance for the end customer. And the last thing, of course, is in terms of business, AI can be of great help to diminish costs. Because, of course, if the MSSP or your partner in terms of security spends less time on checking if it's a false positive or a real attack, then at the end of the month, you'll spend less money.
Okay, great. Yves, can you perhaps share an example of a project that CNS has been leading?
Sure. As network engineer or consultant, I'm spending a lot of time to craft very detailed migration, taking into parameters, business impact, technical constraint. And basically what we have seen as like Gen AI, it's a new tool to empower all technical expertise and to focus on what really matters and valued. So for instance, what I have in mind, we just completed a regional data center migration with more than 6 migration iterative, which required more than 5,000 changes on devices in a very scheduled and scripted manner. So with Gen AI, we're able to build parsers, scripts, and bring our technical expertise to validate and be in full control of our migration.
Okay. Thanks. Geoff?
Okay, so we need...
Let's see if you, 4 weeks into Mistral, if you already have some success stories to tell us.
Yes, I'm very, very fortunate because Mistral's an open source company. So we've actually had hundreds of customers use our models in the Asian region over the last kind of like 18 months. And I think I have some in this audience that are also users of our technology. I think the biggest success that we've seen is Asia is not a country. Asia is a very complex region with a massive diversity of languages, and even within the languages, having different dialects. So when I come up, when I speak with some of our customers and they say, Geoff, we're so thankful we could customize the Mistral model to have a better understanding of all the nuances of the Asian region. You know, that's one great success we see in providing technology that makes it easier for our customers in Asia to adopt Gen AI. The second big success that we've had is we've managed to announce a partnership with the Ministry of Defense in Singapore. And that's really been great to see two science teams come together, the best of France and the best of Singapore, to really ideate what good looks like in terms of outcomes for military applications. So, you know, that's been another great success we've had.
Right. And maybe we move to Libertify, because I've heard when we discussed that you won some prize, you started in Hong Kong, then moved to Singapore, so curious to hear about the successes.
Yes, Claire, we were the first French company to win the Hong Kong FinTech competition with 560 companies on 14 countries. And I would like to point out that more than a technology, AI is changing our life. And it's becoming a new normal. So we are developing solutions that are defining this new normal. I have a great case study that we are leading for Société Générale for more than 1 year now. We are producing, at the moment where we are speaking right now, more than 300 videos that are fully generated by AI on the biggest financial website in France, presenting in 90 seconds 24 pages of content to educate and increase knowledge of investors. We launched it with Banque de France for the Financial Education Week. And following our victory, we immediately scale up in APAC, and we launched in Singapore for Société Générale a kind of new kind of morning call that is using our solution to provide daily contents, giving you key information on pre-market. So the acceleration is massive, and there is opportunities that are ahead of us.
Has it been easy to start in Asia?
It's fascinating, and starting in Asia, it's first of all, you need to get ready for fast acceleration and strong winds, and it's area where there are many possibilities, great knowledge about the technologies and opportunities, and a fantastic will to do new things and new cutting-edge solutions.
Okay, so in a way, you've been successful in your growth in Asia so far. Any tips for the entrepreneurs in the room?
Oh, it's very hard to give a tips for everybody, but I would say if you have goodwill, nothing is impossible here.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, maybe, Yves, a question related to the challenges. So any specific challenges that related to the Asia market, the customers here? I know you've been looking at a lot of French clients, so have you also been servicing some Singaporean clients or some Asian clients?
Sure. So basically, what we have observed with some of our global clients, as much hype as we AI and how much we believe in how disruptive this can be into any businesses, we have also seen some gap between our client ambition and the data readiness to be able to leverage on the data and make a good use of AI. So, for instance, what I have in mind, we had a project where we had a worldwide Wi-Fi audit for global retailer, just to be able to access the devices worldwide, to be able to start to bring back the data before we can even talk about AI. The reachability project, it's a 6 to 8 month journey, just to get the right credential, to get the right traffic access. From one region to another one is a totally different device brand and so on. So there's a lot of complexity and readiness. Then after we can start, how can we leverage on that data? So that's one of the challenges, to be maybe like the cold shower sometime. As much as we want to go here, we still have some foundation and structure that needs to be in place before we can move forward.
And that's very country dependent.
That's something that we see maybe even more here in Asia, especially on like documentation. This is something in terms of process IT that might be lacking, and that will impact accelerating on AI deployment.
So what would help you go faster? Anything that the government should do or that other startups should do?
What we are trying to look is how we can now leverage AI a bit earlier instead of having like the fancy application deployment, how we can build that foundation way faster relying on AI tooling.
And so once you've implemented those projects to your customers, you need to make sure that they're independent and they can run with the solution. But then AI keeps on evolving and keeps on changing. So how does it work?
That's a paradox because we are from the IT infrastructure, right? So this is slow pace, very important hardware equipment. So at the end, what is more important is to have the right structure, and then the last layer, this one can be dynamic. So you can switch models, you can make some try and fails on new technologies, but that will come a bit later. Yeah.
Okay. So ideally, you keep your clients in the long term, but you build enough independence so that
exactly,
they can
you get it right.
Solutions. Okay. Perfect. That makes sense. Geoff, what would be the potential challenges that you anticipate in scaling Mistral? Because when we spoke, Geoff told me Mistral has done an amazing job. Everything is set up. The French team is there and here to help us. I can recruit the team, so if anyone wants a job, go and speak to that guy afterwards. But surely there must be some challenges in implementing Mistral in Asia.
Yeah, look, I've been based in Singapore for about 10, 11 years, and my job has always been to convince multinationals to come and invest in Singapore. I've done it with American companies, and I've now done it with a French company. While there will always be challenges in Asia, I can't help but feel this is probably the best time ever to be a European company coming to Asia. And I think that's because of a number of reasons. I think the most important reason is in this current environment, choice is important. And I think there's always been three choices. There's always America, there's China, and now more than ever, I think Europe is a very, very legitimate choice in terms of who you want to partner with. So number one, I'm super excited working for a European company. And then the second thing beyond challenges is really just focusing on what value do you bring to the market. Because I think people look at two things. They look at who they buy from and how are they buying. And I think being open source, being open standard, being willing to collaborate between our scientists and the resources across Asia has really created quite a compelling reason to engage with us. And I think a lot of that is definitely the mindset of our founders, but also this concept about academic research and being very open in that has really helped, I think, Mistral differentiate itself in this market.
So what made you choose Mistral as your next challenge?
Look, I think the first thing is I hadn't been to Paris for like 20 years, so I wanted to go check that out.
You wanted a trip.
But more honestly, I think because it's important that there's three options in the market and not two, I think Mistral is probably one of the best options from Europe when it comes to partnering with organizations to build foundational and, to be very upfront, sovereign AI capabilities. So that was kind of it. When I heard the success that we'd been having with the Singapore government, we're hopefully about to announce something very, very big with other governments, that kind of set that for me. And the second thing is it's just an incredibly young, vibrant company. I'm the diversity hire. Don't speak French, probably twice as old as the founders, and quite new to French culture. So I think that was also really an exciting opportunity to learn from much younger people at the absolute leading edge of AI and science.
And you're not afraid about competition? Because AI has been going fast in the region too, so surely there must be other players out there.
Oh, look, of course there's really amazing players out there. I mean, from China we have DeepSeek, from America we have OpenAI. So there's definitely a really vibrant ecosystem. But I think we're so early in this journey that there's enough for everyone. I think we're super early. So I'm really glad that there's others out here creating the market at the same time that we are.
Nice. David, you mentioned you've been in Asia quite recently, scaling HarfangLab. Any challenges that you're already seeing along the road?
Yes. So HarfangLab deals primarily with the defense industry, healthcare, banks, telecommunications. So people that are very sensitive to this evasive word that is sovereignty. You can define sovereignty by where is the data stored, what kind of access do you give the customer in your tool, how it behaves, etc. So what I can see is this kind of dichotomy or schizophrenia between wanting to grab all the new tech that is just coming out, the sexiness of AI, the sexiness of cloud, but at the same time, you have this anchor of compliance and context reality where you cannot do whatever you want. So the challenge we are facing right now is how can we bring these new tech, these new engines, these new toys, and put them in a compliant environment. So the way we address that with HarfangLab is we are fully ISO features between the cloud and on-prem air-gap version. So these customers I'm talking about, they can play with the toys they want without having tens and dozens of emails from the compliance department saying, what are you doing?
So they have their own sandbox to test.
They have everything on premises, on their servers, and they do whatever they want with the tool, which is by definition open sourced and open to them. And we have nothing to do with it, and it's perfectly closed off.
Okay, so do you spend more time selling your solution, or do you spend more time educating people about data security and safety?
I spend most of my time finding reliable partners locally, and then I try to explain that European vendors, even if they are not in Gartner or Forrester, are huge competitors. I agree with what you said. I think technology is not about only product, it's about geopolitics. Cloud and EDRs or cybersecurity is geopolitical in its essence. The last 4 months, I haven't traveled that much in my last 5 years because of what's happening today with, so yeah, we need to be aware of that.
And how are you feeling on those relationship and opportunities across Asia? Do you have any target countries?
There's a lot to be done. Right now, we're really trying to focus on building a network of trusty partners, trying also to work out with government, build trust. It's going to take time. And as you said, we're just starting, but it's very exciting.
And I guess you have some clear government projects in Europe that you have some projects from Europe in terms of collaboration with the government that you can highlight and showcase here. Exactly. That helps you build the trust. Yes,
definitely. So in Europe, we're working with a number of ministries of public sector, defense industry in Europe and in the Middle East. And we're trying to bring this expertise in Asia. But as you know, even if you have got down thousands of dominoes elsewhere, you need the first one, the second one here.
And you need to start that. Okay. So if there is any Asian governance in the room, please go and meet
David
afterwards. Okay, great. Well, let's look forward now. And maybe we start with you, Florian, and Libertify. Yeah. What's coming next for Libertify?
Many things, and I would say from our initial point in APAC, in Hong Kong, we are now working in Singapore, in Japan, and we have many projects that demonstrate the acceleration of our business. And as we were mentioning, I think AI is shifting now. It's becoming something that is very useful. It's in our day-to-day life. We are the bridge of the agentic side, so I think the debate we will have in 1 year about the same topic will forget the term AI, and many things that we consider as AI today will be the new normal, integrated. Regarding our side, we have multiple angles of development regarding the content, the communications, and the way we integrate our solutions in the marketing strategy of our clients. We have a recent example that is demonstrating the capacity of APAC to integrate French technology and deploy it at an international level. We just launched the Invest Hong Kong campaign on 10 countries in 3 languages, targeting Middle East, America, APAC, and it's fully developed using our AI ready-made solutions, integrating our Hong Kong team. And there is multiple angles of collaboration, very instructive, very it's a lot of motivation and lots of excellence in it. And I will say the collaboration of all teams from Europe and APAC is just amazing.
Thanks. And maybe practically, how do you organize Libertify team across the different regions? You have a center of excellence in France, a center of excellence in Asia.
We started with the center of excellence in France. We have lots of our team that is coming from Polytechnique. And we deploy a hub in Hong Kong. We build with Cyberport and our team. We are transferring knowledge from local parts. And it's very instructive and constructive for us because we are learning a lot from the feedback from the team on the way to work, the way to address the process. And especially when you are addressing local markets. For example, we launched the global forecast of Amundi in Hong Kong. There was a Cantonese challenge to adapt, to deploy, to just target the right audience. And it's fascinating that we can integrate and learn together on the same project very easily.
Nice, thanks. Geoff, you spoke a little bit about it, but what's coming up next for Mistral? Maybe here. Okay, you can talk about what's coming up next for Mistral globally, but also here in Asia. I guess we'll have two scale.
So I think we'll start global, then we'll go local, okay? So globally, we're incredibly excited about where we are on the journey. So I think there's been a lot of talk about AI agents and agentic capability as enhancing what we do on a day-to-day basis. I think sometime in the next few years, we're going to evolve from simply having agents to maybe synthetic workers that can start to do more and more tasks autonomously. And that could drive a massive amount of concern, but also productivity. I think what is also going to happen is one of the biggest problems with expanding into Europe and expanding to Asia is just how fragmented the markets are. Like so many different languages, so many different legislation, different accounting standards, etc. The great thing about Gen AI is it actually makes a lot of this mundane work a lot less costly and a lot quicker. Like to translate manuals to Thai, to Indonesian, to French, to Swedish, it's all a lot easier than it was 5 years ago. So I'm really quite excited about the opportunity to expand with a lot less friction across the APAC market. It's a different viewpoint because my unit economics have changed. I can more cost effectively go into different countries. So at least from a Mistral perspective, it may not be the same sales playbook as 3-5 years ago where it cost me $1 million every time I place a bet. I may be able to place bets for far less cost and test out these markets. So that's kind of us over the next few years, a lot more, the next couple of years, a lot more experimentation. We'll actually decide which markets we can make a difference in. And at a broader scale, I think the move to more and more automation and autonomy.
Okay, nice. And what would success look like for you at the end of the year?
Success at the end of the year is we've got a really solid base in Asia, and we've had success in some of the other key regions, Japan, Korea, India, Australia, and we know where we're going to deploy our next pod. And it's in my little plan. So.
But if every expansion accelerates, it should go fast, no?
I think so. To be very honest, I've managed to work for a number of really amazing companies in Asia. To be very upfront, I've never seen a company grow this quick in this period of time. It's unheard of. But I think that's the amazing opportunity and challenge that lies in front of all of us. The orders of magnitude that are being invested is very, very different to other technology cycles.
So customers are really open for it and wanna give it a try.
Absolutely. Yes and no. Look, I think there's thousands of customers that want to give it a try. What is really exciting us as a company is customers with pretty firm points of view. It's Mistral, we know we have a specific problem in the automation of trade finance, for example. We operate in 32 geographies. It's currently costing us X amount per process, and we want to fix it. So I think the clarity of thought is getting much stronger in the last 12 months.
Okay, that's a nice segue to Yves, actually. Do you see a similar trend with your customers?
What we are trying to anticipate, there were a lot of AI whitewashing as well along the way, and we are still trying to see like a business-driven requirement needs to be addressed with AI. So I think we are really close to that part, and we are really excited in the area of like AI ops. We see some really promising way to include AI, Gen AI, into day-to-day IT operation. For instance, instead of spending hours and hours of workshop to define the best dashboard, and if you could just chat back with all your data infrastructure and get back presented dynamic dashboard that really makes sense to one specific event that you are trying to look for, I think there's really promising, and we are really anticipating a trend moving forward in terms of operation optimization, relying on Gen AI.
Nice. And do you see some specific collaboration between France and Asia that you could leverage?
We are quite glad to see that most of our clients who have a footprint in Asia are already working with the French AI ecosystem, including Mistral LLM customization. So I think what I'm really looking forward is from the two zones. We are maybe one which is regulated driven, and another one where there is a fast-paced deployment, a try and fail mentality that will go way faster on the other side. And we are really looking forward for that consolidation and consensus between those two extremes.
Okay, thanks a lot. David, what does success looks like for HarfangLab in a year's time?
Successes for HarfangLab will be being capable to address all the sovereign markets that we are targeting. So, as I mentioned, defense, public sector, healthcare. Being able to explain the added value we have on the AI side, making sure that those customers are not deprived of this amazing movement, and making sure that we can establish ourselves in Singapore, but we also are currently working in Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia. So trying to build that as thoroughly as possible, but also as quickly as possible with partners. So we work with Mistral also for our own LLMs. So we're trying to build this ecosystem at the same time as we are trying to build our track record.
Great. Well, on this, I guess there's a common theme is winning projects for sure, leveraging all the scale that AI could bring to go to new markets. And then there seems to be a lot of great collaborations between the country and France and Asia, which is good. Let's continue celebrating this. So I think on this, we'll wrap up the panel because we're running out of time. We have a networking session that's happening at the French Pavilion. If anyone wants to ask some questions to the speakers afterwards, everyone is welcome. So let me thank all the speakers. Yes, please stay in touch and connect with us at the French Pavilion.